What if the world we know was built on a knife's edge? And what if, in one crucial moment, that edge had turned the other way? Imagine a world where the stars and stripes didn't fly over the moon, but a red star did. A world where the familiar hum of American life was replaced by a different, more disciplined rhythm. This isn't just a story, it's a journey into an America that almost was. October 1962. The world holds its breath. The Cuban Missile Crisis. In our timeline, a secret deal diffused the tension. A quiet compromise that allowed both superpowers to step back from the brink while saving face. But in another reality, there was no secret deal. Under immense international pressure and facing a united, unblinking Soviet bloc, a young and overwhelmed President Kennedy makes a devastating choice. A public, unilateral withdrawal of American missiles from Turkey and Italy, with no reciprocal action from the Soviets. It's a humiliating retreat. The world sees it not as diplomacy, but as capitulation. Premier Khrushchev, hailed as a masterful statesman who stared down the paper tiger of the West, becomes a hero across the globe. The Soviet Union is emboldened, its prestige skyrocketing. This single moment doesn't just end a crisis, it redirects the river of history. The years that follow are a cascade of losses for the West. The dominoes don't just fall, they're knocked over with brutal efficiency. Emboldened by their Cuban victory, the Soviets pour unprecedented resources into technology and global influence. The space race becomes a blowout. In 1967, it's not Apollo, but a Soyuz craft that lands a man on the moon. The image of a cosmonaut planting the hammer and sickle flag on the lunar surface is broadcast to every corner of the Earth. It's a symbol of a new era, a declaration that the future is red. Back on Earth, America's spirit begins to fray. The Vietnam War ends not in a withdrawal, but a decisive, Soviet-backed North Vietnamese victory years earlier. Across Latin America, Asia, and Africa, one nation after another aligns with the powerful and seemingly unstoppable Moscow consensus. NATO, once a mighty shield, begins to crack. Allies, seeing the shifting tides, start making their own deals with the Kremlin. The US, once the leader of the free world, finds itself increasingly isolated, a lonely island of capitalism in a rising socialist sea. The 1970s and 80s in America are a period of deep introspection and turmoil, often called the Great Malaise. The economy stagnates, crippled by the loss of global markets and the immense yet futile cost of trying to keep up in a race it has already lost. The optimism of the post-war era evaporates, replaced by a sense of decline and cultural anxiety. Protests aren't just about war. They're about a lost future. Political divisions deepen, with radical movements on both the left and right gaining traction, each blaming the other for the nation's fall from grace. Meanwhile, the Soviet Union, free from the crippling arms race that drained its economy in our timeline, thrives. It pioneers new technologies in computing, energy, and medicine. The Soviet model of a planned economy, now backed by real success, becomes attractive to developing nations. The Internet, when it emerges, is not the decentralized web we know, but a state-controlled network, a tool for unity and surveillance, not open expression. By the 1990s, the American landscape has changed. The Cold War is over, but America lost. The nation's influence shrinks to its own borders. Iconic cityscapes are still recognizable, but different. Imagine a slow pan over Washington, D.C. The Capitol dome still stands, but next to the American flag, another symbol is sometimes flown on state occasions, a flag of international friendship and cooperation. A subtle but constant reminder of the new global order. American culture reflects this new reality. The vibrant, rebellious rock and roll and Hollywood blockbusters of our timeline are replaced by a more subdued, introspective art. Films and music grapple with themes of lost identity and nostalgia for a bygone era of American strength. English is still spoken, of course, but learning Russian is a mandatory part of the curriculum in top schools, the language of science, technology, and power. Drive through the heartland. The towns look the same, but the billboards are different. Instead of advertisements for cars and sodas, you see public service announcements promoting community service and national unity. Their design aesthetic eerily reminiscent of Soviet propaganda posters. The cars themselves are smaller, more efficient, relics of past oil crises and economic limitations. The American dream of endless growth and individual prosperity has been downsized, replaced by a collective focus on stability and making do. Politically, the United States has adopted a stance of pragmatic neutrality, a fortress America. The two-party system survives, but its debates are smaller, more insular. The arguments are not about how to lead the world, but how to best manage the nation's dignified decline and preserve what's left of its unique identity in a world that has moved on without it. This isn't a world of overt oppression, not a Red Dawn scenario of tanks rolling down Main Street. It's something far more chilling. A slow, quiet erosion of a nation's soul. The red star over Washington isn't on a flag hoisted by invaders. It's a shadow cast by a world that America no longer leads. It's the silent acknowledgement that history is written by the victors, and in this timeline, the victor spoke a different language and followed a different dream. It's a haunting reminder of how fragile history is, and how one moment of weakness, one decision under pressure, can reshape the destiny of not just a nation, but the entire world. Thanks for joining us on this journey into what might have been. It's a stark thought, isn't it? If you enjoy exploring these alternate histories and asking, what if? Be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss our next video. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think would be the biggest change in this alternate America? Until next time, stay curious.